Ultimate Core Training. My name is Alan Cosgrove. Along with my wife Rachel Cosgrove and my colleague Robert Doshemedios, we're going to demonstrate some of the core activities that we use here at Results Fitness and also at the Cougar Strength Program at College of the Canyons. We have a strong focus on stabilization exercises along with some non-traditional stuff which involves moving loads around the core while you brace the midsection. So we're going to show you a whole bunch of exercises right now and not a whole lot of crunches. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first exercise we're showing are just basic plank variations. Robert's shown on your hands, Rachel's shown on your elbows. We really focus on stabilization for core training. The next progression is just from here, we move to a single arm support. So Rachel's putting it straight out in front, Robert's taking it across, and switch sides. So we're still looking for stabilization, we're just reducing the base of support at this point. And put your arms down, guys, and give me a single leg support. Same idea, we're just taking one of the 4 points of support out of the equation, change sides. And you can hold for various lengths of time. And let's put those two together, let's do single arm and single leg support. So stay tight. And switch sides, beautiful. We're just looking for their ability to maintain the torso in a stiff position and relax. Good. So the next progression is we just raise up on an unstable object. These guys are doing a great job, so they're not moving at all. But the forces, because the ball is unstable, it actually increases the demands on the core. And again, we can take it up a notch by going to a single leg support. It's actually really challenging. And switch sides. And relax. Good. And the next variation is just to elevate the feet. So we have an unstable surface under the upper extremity and a stable surface elevated on the lower extremity. Again, we're just holding this for time, and all the other variations apply. We can go to single leg and change sides. This is real challenging, and relax. Now we're moving into a more dynamic variation with using mountain climbers. Rachel's doing regular mountain climbers or knee drives, and Robert's doing a cross-body variation where he's going to the opposite shoulder. So this just involves, it's the same stability through the core, but we're just asking the lower extremity to move, and obviously we can move slowly like this, or we can change speed, move it up, and it becomes more ballistic. Still a stability exercise, but we're getting a little more movement in. And relax. Now we just move into the side plank variations. Exact same idea, but we're using a single arm or elbow support. So another isometric hold just for the side, for the obliques, and working that lateral stability. So from here, we can move into a single leg support position, which makes it a lot tougher. And guys, go ahead and switch to a top leg support. And this is where they bend the bottom leg and tuck it up, so they're getting some inside groin. That's a real good lateral sling system exercise here. And from here we can move into a dynamic one, go to 2 leg support, and then just switch over to the other side for me. So they can switch to the other side and we can run through the same progression, but let's just go back and forth. So again, we're bringing a little more of a dynamic work into this exercise. And rest. So what we have now is Rachel's going from a single leg support and alternating sides. So she's switching all the way over and moving into a single leg support again and coming back. So it creates that dynamic, but it's a very reduced base of support. Robert's just bringing in another exercise. We added a row. While he's holding the side plank position, he's just doing a horizontal pulling exercise. We're just using a band here, but you could use a cable machine or something like that allows him to work the upper back, and it changes the forces through the core. You just switch to single leg support, further destabilizing it. And then the hardest variation with the bottom leg up. Nice, right? So we have here, we're moving on a little further. What Robert's doing, he's doing a side plank where he comes right round, almost getting into a full plank and reaching through and coming up. So we're still working stability, but we're getting a little more motion coming in. What Rachel's doing is we call it a super plank or a plank walk-up, where she's just going from the elbow position up into the push-up position. Right? It integrates a little shoulder stability alongside the core. Couple more reps, guys. And again, it's just, we're still working stability, but we've introduced some more movement at this point. And rest. Okay, just continuing with the idea of stability with a little more movement. Robert's just doing a hold. He's just moving the ball with his elbows, which just changes the forces through the core quite dramatically. Next to him, Rachel's doing a forward ball roll. She's just on her elbows from her knees, and she's just rolling out, trying to get some stability and return. Right? These are starting to become a little more advanced core stability variations. These are not for beginners. Good. So now we're using the valve slide. This position right here, all Rachel's doing is holding the plank, and these are discs that slide along the floor. So Rachel, move both hands forward about 3 inches. What this does is massively engages the core underneath, because now the base of supports are in front of you. Bring it back. So this is position 1, we work everything off of underneath the shoulders. Position 2, show it one more time, both hands forward, and bring it back in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do alternating. We're going to do valve slide pushaways. All Rachel's doing is keeping her arms straight, just maintaining a tight torso, and alternating each leg. And rest. So Rachel has now turned into a 250-pound vegan man. We're just going to show you, a lot of people see the stability stuff and think that it's soft, because we're going to show some aggressive variations. What Robert's going to do is extend his left arm into the push away, and as he goes out, he's going to do a one-arm push-up. We're still working stability. Now he's getting some upper body work, but we're getting a lot of stability through the core. But take it up one more, I go with Spider-Man variation, where as Robert does it, he bends the other leg and tucks it up. These are pretty aggressive variations. Now we're moving into some valve slide mountain climbers. Rachel's just keeping the core tight again, and just alternating, moving the hips, flexing the hip. Again, what we're looking for is stability. We're not looking for movement in the core. We're still looking to keep the core tight. And then just go double time, Rach. And obviously from here we have other variations. We could put our hand on a stability ball or a medicine ball and so on and so forth. Now we're moving into 2 what we call hip back disassociation variations. Rachel's doing a prone jackknife, which involves just keeping the upper body still and having a hip flexion exercise and tucking the knees. Robert's doing a slightly different variation with the prone pike, where he keeps his legs straight and the only movement is from the hips. There's no flexion from the knees. So it's a good exercise to start integrating shoulder stability alongside some core stability. And Robert's starting to show off doing a single leg variation. Now what Brandy's going to demonstrate is an inchworm exercise. All this is she just walks out, only her toes and fingers are touching the floor, and then trying to keep her legs straight, she just walks back in from the ankle. When she comes together, she walks back out again. So again, it's all core stability. The arms end up going way out in front of the torso. And then she walks it in. Now we're demonstrating a Russian twist. Robert's doing a traditional variation which involves rotation of the core, and he's moving at speed there. Rachel's doing an anti-rotation variation where she's moving the load around her but trying to keep the core completely still. Right, so they look very similar, but they have 2 separate purposes. Now we move into an explosive Russian twist. All Rachel's doing is gently throwing the ball, the medicine ball to Robert. He's giving me 3 ballistic moves and back up. He's got to be able to decelerate, Control, change direction, and then accelerate the load back to Rachel. 2 more reps. Last one. So what we have here is a reverse lunge variation. So it's actually unloading the leg. It's not heavy work to do an unloaded lunge. But this cable is pulling Rachel this way. It's providing force, and she's actually counter-rotating. Alright, with her body. Don't let that cable move. Keep it right in the middle. So while it looks like she's still, she's actually doing quite a dynamic rotation on her side. To take this up a notch, hold it there, Rach. We'll just destabilize the front foot. She's going to step back now, stabilize the core, step back into a reverse lunge, and return. It's a pretty demanding exercise for the core, but not for the legs. So it allows us to increase the metabolic activity, while at the same time overloading the core. Keep that right in the middle. 1 more rep. Good. Okay, another variation is just a cross-body chop. Same concept though, we're looking for core stability and we're just moving a load around the body. Rachel's pulling down and across. And she can go to half kneeling, moving the right foot up. And we can, of course, with the cable, we can change the line of pull so it's coming more across and less down, however we want to do it. 2 more reps. Core stays tight. The next exercise we're going to do is a cable chop on the same side. What Rachel's in is in the tall kneeling position. And again, what we're looking for here is just stability. We're not looking for any movement from the core. She's just going to have a couple of reps on this side. And all that is a force moving around her core. She's pulling the bar to the waist and pressing down on this side. Go to half kneeling, Rachel. So exact same exercise. And she's pressing down. And rest. And this is just a horizontal chop. Rachel's just exploding right round. Okay, so she's just moving, feet stay straight, pointing ahead. She's just moving from one side to the other. Obviously we'll repeat on both sides. 1 more rep. And Robert's just doing a full integrated wood chop. High to low standing. You can see all these movement patterns that we've done chopping can be done from high to low horizontally or from low to high. And we can go from kneeling, half kneeling to standing to even single leg stance. We can change the speed. So let's show the other variation. And this is, we're going a little lighter here. And this one was a reverse wood chop or a low to high chop. We're just starting low and going high. Again, we could change the stance, we can change the speed. 1 more. And Robert's demonstrating an explosive chop from half kneeling. Knee closest to the weight stack is up and he's just chopping. Now we're getting a full rotation and full flexion. This is obviously a more advanced, more powerful exercise. We're not looking for stability here, we're looking for movement. 1 more rep. So now just the reverse wood chop. The knee furthest from the machine is up, and Robert's just controlling it down and exploding up, getting some thoracic extension at the top, and extending the load. 2 more reps. So now we're just doing a push-pull, and again the idea is Robert's putting the load forward and back around his torso, but he's staying tight here in the core. Right, so there's no movement in the core, the load's moving around him. But we can change this up and go a little more explosive. It goes to a split stance, and now we're getting some torso rotation. This is a total body exercise. 2 more reps, hard. Okay, Robert's just demonstrating corkscrews now. Again, a total body exercise, right? So he's unloading the legs, he's working legs, but he's unloading them because this is not heavy for his legs. But it's like a full body reverse chop, right? From below his knee to above his shoulder. He's going to switch sides, give me a few reps. Just a non-traditional core exercise, but it really challenges the core when you're doing it. So now we're doing a landmine or a grappler anti-rotation exercise. What Rachel's doing with the handles is she's trying to make as big a half circle as she can without the core collapsing. So this is a long lever arm and it makes it real heavy. So we're going to do one more on each side, Rach, after this. And you can see that she's working, right? She's got to stabilize the core hard and bring it back to center. So again, we watch stability. We're not looking for movement. Alright, now Robert's using the same exercise, but this one's a little more ballistic. Alright, it's getting a full body movement. We're getting both legs working, full body twist, but you can see his core stays tight and doesn't buckle at all. Right. 2 more reps each side. One more each side. Now we're going to do a locked crunch. This is the only crunch you're going to see on this DVD because I'm pretty sure most of you know how to do a crunch. This is a slightly different variation. It was shown to me by Steve DiDio from New York City. You need a partner for this. We're going to start here. Rachel's going to come up, bring her elbows to your knees and lock that position. I'm going to move her slowly up. When her feet touch the floor, we go back down. She's just locking that position the whole time. It's an isometric hold. It's actually pretty hard to do. One more, and then we'll do a different variation. Good. This variation is a little tougher. She comes up the same way. And then she just lowers down to the floor. When she gets to the floor, I go again, up. And she just lowers down to the floor. Last one, and I can change how much I help her. I can give her very little help, like now, and make it very slow. Or I can give her a little more help and lower down. So now we have an offset reverse lunge. Okay, the load is not heavy again, but because we've taken it up to the shoulder, we've actually raised Rachel's center of gravity up and out to the right. So the demands on her core have become elevated. We made this lower body exercise into a core exercise. Now Rachel, hold it overhead. Same idea, just step back into an overhead reverse lunge. And again, that load is not heavy for Rachel's legs or her shoulder, but at arm's length, that's pretty intense on the core. 2 more reps. Okay, now we have a unilateral squat. Again, it's a light load, but because it's offset, we increase core demands. Rachel's going to do a couple of reps like this. Then we'll move into a combination of a unilateral squat, then an overhead press. So all we're doing is increasing the core demand for a traditional lower body activity by using an offset load and changing the center of gravity throughout the exercise. Okay, Robert's just demonstrating what we call a braced squat with the load in front. So you can use a dumbbell, medicine ball, or a kettlebell. Because the demand is not heavy for Robert's legs or for his shoulder to hold that position. But again, that puts tremendous demand on the core. So it takes a simple exercise and makes it into a core exercise. So 2 more reps. Now we're demonstrating overhead farmer's walks. Robert on the far left has 2 kettlebells of equal weight. Brandy has a sandbag which moves around a little bit, and Rachel has 2 different loads with dumbbells, which creates quite an extreme core demand in this exercise. So this is a lateral lunge to lockout. Okay, what Rachel's doing is she's just stepping into a lateral lunge, and as she steps down, she bends the arm on the same side and presses back up overhead. This is not heavy for the shoulders at all. We're unloading the upper body, but the core demands by holding a load overhead when it's not in the center of your body can be quite considerable. So with 2 more each side, Rach. And you can see she's stabilizing. 1 more each side. She's stabilizing the core. And dropped. Okay, Robert's just demonstrating a push-up position dumbbell row. So again, the idea is the core stays tight and he's just offsetting his center of gravity and doing a dumbbell row. Again, the row is not heavy for his back to work, but taking that load in the offset position really challenges the core. 1 more on each side. Now Robert's just going to demonstrate some of the suspended work that we're using here on the blast straps. Just some push-ups. Again, the angle makes the push-up easy, but the unstable nature of the straps makes that a high demand on the core. Now he's going to move into fallouts, which are obviously pretty hard. Again, it's just keeping the core stable as we move the load around about the core. And then we'll move into alternating fallouts. Again, the core demands are pretty high. We offset the center of gravity, we offset the balance point, we're having him extend his torso under load. Alternating fallouts. Thank you for watching Ultimate Core Training. Hopefully we shared with you some good variations that can really enhance you or your clients' core training programs. Because hopefully we didn't bore you with too much explanation. For more information, check out my website, alancosgrove.com. Thanks for listening.